Good morning, my dear friends. The gardening season is in full swing, and that means the grass is growing very fast. In fact, it's not taking any prisoners. Every day it grows by a few more centimeters. And now everyone who has a small or large garden faces a dilemma. Whether to spend Saturday afternoon mowing the lawn or to spend that afternoon with the family. Today, my dear friends, we'll check if technology can help us solve this problem once and for all. Welcome to another video in my tech series today, where I'll be talking about the new robot from AntBot's M9 series. It arrived and I want to show you the process. We'll go from the moment of unboxing, see what's inside, through installation, working in the app, and then we'll give it a test, Hubert Lemansky style. We'll check whether it cuts chaotically as well as the manufacturer claims. We'll check how it handles small bumps like these and see how it can mow this lawn. Whether it's very chaotic or maybe more organized. Let's start with the unboxing, because you only get to make a first impression once. According to the manufacturer, the robot itself isn't very light, because it weighs around 10 kilo, which when it comes to garden equipment is definitely a plus, because it means it's properly weighted and the components are of good quality. The plastics are matte and fit well with everything, so they shouldn't get scratched too much by any protruding branches. The wheels, look at the wheels, they're very large, and these treads are really substantial too, so it should handle hills and uneven terrain very well. Additionally, what do we have here? We have an RTK antenna and an extra mast. We have the antenna and, most importantly, the docking station, which is the key component of this set. We also have a power cable, and what's cool here is that it's well designed, because the power cable is purple and it also says power on it, so it's hard to mix it up. It's the same here. Yes. We have these mounts properly labeled. The cables for the antenna and the power supply, as well as the pins for mounting the docking station. And a very sturdy and nicely built spike for mounting the mast with the RTK antenna. Let's check what's underneath. Here we have swiveling wheels and a cutting disc with 5 blades. The cutting deck, which is what's called a floating deck, meaning it's movable. This will allow, for example, for smooth cutting of the lawn surface, even if there are some elevations. Anyway, we'll do a test like that and see if it actually works. Anyway, it's time to install this robot. Installing the docking station is a very important matter. We choose a place, one that is flat. It's best to be close to a power source, and preferably in a place that's a bit shaded, so that later the robot doesn't overheat if the sun is shining on it all the time. It's also worth considering installing those cables earlier, especially if you have them near a wall, for example. As I mentioned, these colors really help to twist them properly and make sure everything fits together. Once we have it ready, we use these augers to attach the docking station to the ground so that it's stable. The antenna is connected, the power is on. Now it's time to bring the robot into its home. M9 is just entering the docking station. There's a signal which means the robot is coming to life. Now it's time for us to check how the app works, but take a look. The whole installation went very quickly, actually just a few minutes. We didn't need to bury any cables. The robot is actually ready to work. It's time to see what the app tells us. The app is installed and the robot is paired with my network. Everything went very smoothly and quickly. The app guided me step by step. I already have the robot available here, so it's time to map the area. And now watch this. I'm starting the mapping mode. M9 gently moves out of the station and begins its journey along the edge of the lawn. Thanks to advanced sensors and the positioning system, the robot draws the exact shape of my lawn on my phone, inch by inch. You can also take control of it and create such a map yourself. All you need to do is use your phone like a joystick and, just like in a computer game, head out onto the lawn, guiding the robot from edge to edge. My dear friends, AntBot is walking on the lawn, or rather it's driving on the lawn, so now it's time for the 4 tests I've planned for this robot. The first one is the mowing logic. This robot is no longer an old generation robot that used to drive randomly around the lawn. Here you can choose the mowing mode. You can choose in which direction the grass should be mowed, whether it should be parallel stripes or diagonal. At this moment, I have set the robot to move at a certain angle. And now it's moving at that specific angle. During the first diagonal mowing, the robot precisely cut to the set height, but it left small, narrow strips uncut. If it was mowing straight, those strips didn't appear. The second time it was already better, so surely after mowing a few more times in passes like that, it will mow all the grass. Test number 2. Difficult terrain and traps. There are no big hills in my garden, so I can't test the robot on slopes, but just like in every Polish garden, there are small bumps, some patches here and there, especially in my case because I did irrigation renovations this year and there are places where the grass hasn't grown yet. But some little mounds have formed, and in this situation the robot handles it quite well. You can see that these large wheels with treads rotate efficiently on this kind of terrain, which allows the robot to handle these micro hills well. Additionally, thanks to this floating shield, it doesn't cut or scalp the grass that's a bit higher, and it moves very well on this kind of terrain. Test number 3, which is virtual forbidden zones. Listen, I set up a forbidden zone very easily in the app, right in the middle of my lawn. It could just as well be places like a playground or an important flower bed that's in the middle. I actually set up this forbidden zone with just 2 clicks. The robot approaches it, and thanks to the sensor system, it has a barrier, immediately turns around and instantly goes around that zone. It actually handles it very well. It sees every virtual line, and in the middle of the lawn, it just created an island like that. As an additional test, I put an object on the lawn that my children most often leave in forbidden places. The robot handled it very well. It reached the object, stopped at the right moment, turned around and continued on its way. On the next approach, the robot detected the obstacle and skillfully avoided it. Test 4. Mulching quality and safety. M9 doesn't have a basket for collecting the grass clippings. It scatters them across the lawn, so these tiny cut blades become an extra natural fertilizer. Look, a precisely trimmed lawn with clean-cut tips won't dry out during sunny days. And what about safety? If a situation occurs where a child runs up to the robot, grabs it and lifts it, the blade disc immediately starts to stop. My friends, mowing this section is finished. The first tests are done. Now you can see the before and after effect. Even though this lawn wasn't very overgrown, so the cut blades are actually not much, you can see the effect, especially the after, that the lawn is neatly trimmed. To sum up, AntBot M9 is a very well-made machine. Simple installation, wireless mapping, and good mulching quality are its biggest advantages. You can find all the details and links to this model in the description of this video. And soon on the channel, we'll be testing the flagship AntBot N8 model, which has a unique system for collecting leaves from the lawn. If you want to know more information about technology and plants, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel. Write in the comments if you want more tech news like this, and I'll see you in the next episode.